Hood ready.
Okay, apparently we live. Lovely.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to have you today here at my Wonder Woman interview. And I think this is very apt, right? Because you're smashing it, not even recently, you always smash it. The reason we've got hoods on, it's not that we're cold, it's
Although
mainly
it's
because of
cold.
the book. Yeah, and today we're going to be talking mainly about the book. And I know that many people might know you from different hats you're wearing in your business. So today I would like you kind of to introduce yourself now and say, what do you do in life? What's your latest project? And let people know, give people a little bit taste about you, Joe.
Okay, all right. Well, my name is Joanna Lambe. You might have known me around Cheshire because I work with my partner, Gerard Lamb, and we've got a cosmetic surgery company called Reflect Clinic, which has been going now about 10 years. I've got a lot of reward out of it, and our patients definitely have. Because a question, first of all, I'm firstly a feminist, and I was like, should I be promoting cosmetic surgery to women as a
Yeah,
feminist? And I thought, well, I can't be a hypocrite because I love glamour and I love, looking good, feeling good. And we've had so many stories from patients saying, it's given me self-confidence, body confidence, confidence to go on and meet a partner, get the job that I was too scared to go for because I didn't like my boobs. Either my boobs were too big or my boobs are too small. Spoil it, you always want what you haven't got. If you've got straight hair, you want curly hair. Big boobs, you want little
yeah,
boobs. Little boobs, big boobs. That's the way they goes.
yeah. That's the way it
And
goes.
yeah, I know you always want, and you always think it's better on the other side. But so many women were like, oh, thank God. And, a few people, like, they've been in the house for 10 years. They wouldn't go out because they didn't like how they looked and how it made them feel. And honestly, I wanted to cry. I thought, imagine losing 10 years of your life. So I
Yeah,
thought,
it's
it's
terrible.
definitely got a value. And
Mm.
also, I'm all about choice because you need to have a choice in life. You've got a good brain and you know what you want and need to do whatever you want to do in life. So if you need, a boob job or whatever to feel confident, just get it done. It's so easy these days.
Yeah,
So that is my background, but also I wanted to go a lot deeper than that because obviously women are complex human beings, like we all are complex. And I
yeah.
thought I want to dig a bit deeper. And back in the day, we've still got our hoods up. Back in the
Yeah,
day,
I'm getting sweaty a little bit, but yeah, we got the gist, don't we?
tell me when you want me to take it down. Um, yeah, which way do it? So back in the day, I did communication studies, did PR, did marketing, wrote blogs, and I love all that. I love meeting people and talking to people. And a lot of the women I spoke to, and in my own experience, I thought there's a pattern here. All these super clever women, once they either get married or they have children, they're literally put in the box of being in the home. And then they're wiping worktops, cleaning cupboards, and doing, menial labor that, I'm not being funny, if you were in, it's like they're imprisoned in their own home. And if you've got a good brain and you're doing the same old thing time and time again, what does that do to your psyche? And how does it make you feel? It literally, who's going to feel good if they're cleaning and scrubbing the house all the time? You can't. You can't. And also, you're not getting affirmation from being out in the real world. So you've got your interior life where you're looking after your babies and your children and all those, it's invisible burdens that a woman carries. So it's, emotional, because if people put on their problems to you, you cannot help but feel affected by it.
Yeah,
It's physical because you're carrying things up and down the stairs, hoovering, ironing, washing, cooking, cleaning, all that boring stuff. And then you've got the mental load of trying to organize everything in your life, your partners, your children, however many children you've got, it adds
yeah,
up and adds up and adds up. So it's so much that a woman has to bear, and also the fact that it's invisible. It's not paid, and it's not valued in our, capitalist society. And I'm like, I've seen all these, beautiful, clever women in my own family. I'm like, you're not reaching your potential. The world needs to know about you. And then that's just my own family. And then when I go to, like, the woman next door but one, or the woman next door, and they're in their own boxes doing the best they can, I'm like, it's not an individual issue, it's a political issue. And I think, in 2024, we have not got onto the fact that women in the workforce, have children. And the workforce is not geared towards families, and women are bearing the burden of all that. So that is my issue and my drive. And I want women to achieve their true potential. Of course I do. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
And then, so I'm going on, you've got me on one now. And I'm like, so even one individual woman stuck in her own home with this brain and ideas and creativity and abilities, she's in her own home clearing up crumbs. But what is the value? What could the possible value of that be in society if those women were listened to and collaborated with and enabled to do and improve the world? Because that's what women basically want to do. A lot of them, they want to collaborate and they want to be listened to and speak and, make the world a better place. In general, all the women I've spoken to, no one wants destruction or war or starvation and all those things that some, people at the top don't care about. We want harmony and listening and collaboration. So it's like a vast majority, 51% of the population are women, and they're not being heard and not giving their side of the story and the full picture. Yeah. So that, and also, can I just say, driven on by the menopause, because we were all stuck at home in lockdown, and the menopause hit me at the same time. And I thought, I cannot walk around this blooming island one more time. I can't. If I do this again, I am going to explode. And I was like, right, delegation, let's have a meeting, let's delegate this. And what was so funny, I'm like, I've been doing this for years. I communicated it, and everyone in the house fell into place. I'm like, why didn't I do this years ago?
Yeah, sometimes you just need to stand up and put your foot down, don't you? Otherwise, it's hard. And I think we've kind of been socially conditioned to, they say you can have it all. And it's the best year of a woman, best time we've got right now, because we can work, we can have babies, we can do whatever you want. But very often we carry 2 jobs, right? If you've got your own business, then that's great, you can have it. But then you also taking all those chores from the 50s, So in the 50s, you used to do 1 job. Now we're doing 2 jobs, right?
Exactly. And that's the thing.
Double whammy.
Yes, we have not moved on from the 50s.
No, if anything, we added more things to it, didn't we? So that's basically what's happening right now, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So, Joanna, obviously, can you tell us a little bit more about your book and about what kind of poked you to go onto this author journey? Because it's a massive thing, isn't it? And also, let's be honest, this is not only about the book, because I had few amazing opportunities to work with you. Obviously, we did shoot for your clinic, then we did the shoot for their book cover, and then we photographed your launch. And I think that launch, best one I've ever been to. And it's been not only about putting your book out there, it was beginning of the movement, right? So can you tell us a little bit more? What prompted you to start firstly?
A movement, right? Well, first of all, here's the book, Womanhooded.
Got one as well.
I don't know if you can see that.
Bought it for me, some nice location.
So yes, like all things, I underestimated how much work it would be when I had the idea. But two years later, I've done it. I told a lot of people I was going to do it because I thought if I tell
That's the best
people,
way, isn't it? Otherwise, you're gonna set yourself tasks.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if I don't do it after that, yeah. So
Exactly.
that was part of the reason that drove me to it. But as I say, it was the menopause, it was lockdown, it was seeing my two daughters and the potential that they had. And I thought they're working really hard in school, you know, they're giving it their all. And I'm thinking, I want them to achieve the potential when they leave school. Why should we allow women who've got, you know, individuals any individual or human who've got the brains and ability and the determination to step back? Because that's what women do. They step back because we've been socialized to enable, support and soothe other people in the family since we were born, since we read or heard Cinderella basically and every other fairy tale. So we are living Cinderella in reverse, basically.
Very true, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. So it's a myth. It's a myth we've been brought up with. And also we are doing double shifts. So we're doing the job at home, which is that is a full-time job. And then you've got the children, that's a full-time job. And then you've got maybe a part-time job, which is a full-time job in part-time hours. That's how it works. And then a full-time job. So, you know, there's a lot of shifts. And also these things they build up and it's invisible. That is the thing. So I'm like, well, you know, I feel like I'm very fortunate because I've worked really hard and I've achieved some success, but then I feel a real burden on me to change things for the next generation because you go through a lot of pain. And as a woman, you know, lots of pains. You have period pains, you have pregnancy pains, you have the birth, you have after the birth. All these pains are diminished all the time, and they're real. They're absolutely real. And I'm sick of all women's issues being diminished, and especially in menopause, that's highlighted it to the max, hasn't it? But it's all things in a women's life cycle. It's all stages. So yeah, I mean, I can't say it's one thing. It's an accumulation of a lot and a lifetime of having so many issues that need sorting out for women. Yeah.
What do you think why it is that we've got such a hard time to delegate things? Because I wouldn't even call it ask for help. Because if you parent with your husband, it's not asking for help because that's his child as well, isn't it? So why do we have difficulties to putting everything into partnership? Why this is so difficult for us? And why we feel guilty if we're trying to do that?
Yeah. Well, part of the reason is we've been socialized from being in the womb, basically, you know, fairy stories you hear and you see other role models. Your mum is mostly looking after you because she's on maternity leave after having you. So every woman you see is carrying out this role of serve, soothe, martyr to someone else and not necessarily looking after themselves. So it's pervasive in the whole of society and people accept it because that's the way it is. But that's been the way it is since the 50s. And, you know, we're modern society now. Why is that still going on? That traditional, it is patriarchal setup that, you know, the cost is to women. You know, we're giving all this free labor, free emotional support, free mental support, physical support, and it's all free to other people. The cost is to us. And we can't do it forever. We can't do it forever. And it's a miserable life as well if you're doing everything and fed up with people and you can't communicate it. You know, it's hard.
Is your book for women who exactly feel like you're describing? They're a bit fed up because all those things going to be put on them. Still, they don't have I don't want to say balls, vagina. go for it and do it. It's just something needs to give, right? And I think we our own the biggest enemy, because we putting and I'm not hands up. What stops us to hire a cleaner, to do this, to make sure the shifts with our partners or husbands? Nothing stops us. It's just all about education, what should be done and how we should be kind of tackling those issues. Just like when you said you've got family gathering and you decide this is not good enough, we need to change, right? So I think we also need a little bit awakening that this is very much down to us to put our foot down and start expecting what's is expected also from us, right? So
yes, well, that's
this
the thing. Yeah.
So
On, that's
how would you say, so what do you think, who is this, who could you've got your book, and this book, who would this book benefit the most?
Well, basically, I've written it for all women. So I've written it from the life cycle of a woman. So, when you're born, the role models and what you see and hear on TV, films, books, everything. So it's the life cycle. Because my background's marketing, I've studied the life cycle. We're all living the life cycle. You're born, then you go to school, and then you're a teenager, then you're a woman, then you might get a partner, you might get married, you might live with someone, you might have children, and all those you might hit you will hit the menopause if you live that long, because that's what all women go through if they live that long. So it's, why aren't we looking to those women for those stages? We know they're coming, and even the menopause, it's like, why isn't that part of the curriculum? It's
that's ridiculous. It's completely wrong. Half of people on that earth goes through it, and why this is not important.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like I've educated myself, and I watch the TV, radio, listen to radio, read a lot, and I'm like, I was not prepared for menopause. And it's like, it can happen up to 10 years before your period stop, and it's like, why isn't this in the curriculum? You learn not to have children with birth control, and you get sex education, but you don't get menopausal advice.
Impact massively women's life. We hear the stories, we are part of our friend's life who dropped work and they just got divorced because they couldn't cope with their emotional load, right? The hormones throwing at you. So, and it's a big thing, isn't it? Because that changes people's families, that change people's lives, and why that should be not dealt with in a right manner.
It's incredible, honestly, in 2020 plus. So I went on a conference. I've done tons of research. So it took me 2 years to research the book. But before that, I've done a lifetime of research and listening and watching and hearing what's going on with everybody. So I went to a London menopausia conference, and key things like your hormones drop off a cliff by 30%. When you hit the menopause. So of course, if you're coming off hard drugs, basically, that you've been on since you were 13, what are you going to get when you come off hard drugs? You're going to get these after effects, aren't you? And there's an avalanche of these effects which impact your relationships, your body, your mind, emotions, everything. So I think that's part of it, and that's made me think, so nothing is geared towards women and their life cycle. So that's why it's women from birth, basically, and also men. I've done a chapter for men as well, because obviously we're in relationships. Well,
they with us, don't they? So they're gonna get their load as well if they have to deal with us, isn't it? And so it's good for them. So it really feels like this is not only book you just write because you had something to say, because you want your voice heard, but that goes further, because just like I said, at your launch, it was like a proper event, wasn't it? It was like I don't know, mini concert, mini gig, mini festival. I don't know, so many people, even mini wedding, whatever you want to call it. It was the biggest book launch I ever attended. And you know what struck me as well, Joanna? That there's so many people with different social circles. And I think that's the beauty about you, that you attract those people from different gatherings, it's not only like your friends and family who support you, you really touch hearts of many women from different social circles, and that was really beautiful to watch, that everybody come together, and that message is already really got touched the heart, right? So I don't think that's, obviously it's not meant to just finish at about the book, putting book out and hoping that someone's going to buy it, right? This is a little bit bigger movement.
Yeah.
So tell us about the whole campaign. How do you want to take it further, and why women and men should join that movement and that campaign?
Okay, well, the campaign is called #Womanhooded, so it's on Instagram and Facebook at the moment. I'm going to launch the book on Friday on Amazon, and the week after is going to be a website. But the campaign is all about tapping into this hidden potential that women and men have got. I've been surprised, to be perfectly honest, about the number of men who are on it. They're loving it. It's like, this is what it's all about. You think, you're in a group and like one person says, oh, well, I did this and I did this. The fact is, when you work in a team, everyone has got their talents and their insights, and we need to communicate
100%.
and delegate who is the person for that job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I also think that men or partners, whatever you choose, who you choose with, it's not about, this is my thing, that's my chore. Why not sharing it? And it's nothing worse than having a miserable person living with one miserable person under one roof, right? It's not anything bigger. So the moment you share and you both content and you're feeling the putting the same amount and you equal in that relationship, that energy just bounces around, doesn't it? And like, my personal experience, I'm not saying I'm terrible at cooking. I can fix a meal, but this is not something which brings me joy. Never had. But back in Poland, since you're 5 years old, you learn how to make meatballs for your husband, right? That's what you do, even if you're vegetarian, right? So long story. But I kind of took that from home, that I need to make the meal, because that's what women does. When I met my current husband, I thought, I really don't like doing it. Why should I be doing it if I don't like doing it? And he really likes it. So my plan was making very, very bad, terrible meal, so he would never ask for more.
It's coming out
really
now.
terrible. Yeah, it was really terrible. And you know what? He never asked for more, understandably. But I've seen, and when we sat going together, his cookery skills went amazing, but he liked it, right? And we're not always from the beginning amazing at things. We just need to develop, right? So I like to think I gave him the scope to express himself while cooking by me taking a step back, right? And there is going to be lots of things in our lives, we call it pink jobs, blue jobs, whatever jobs you want to call it, when other people maybe enjoy more than the others, and it's just a question about sitting, communicating, and seeing what fits you best, right?
Exactly. We're all humans. We're humans. We've got our own likes, dislikes, skills, abilities. It's not based on your gender. It's based on individuals, and that's what makes it harder, because you've got to negotiate through all this for each individual circumstance and household and all that. But we can do it. We can definitely do it, and it's more joy for everybody.
Exactly.
If your partner likes cooking, and maybe that's for him, it's like a de-stress, a downtime.
It really is. For me, it's the opposite.
I am exactly the same as you. So he can fill his boots and live his best life in the kitchen.
Exactly.
And you can live your best life out of the kitchen, and maybe you like putting the washing in or something. I'm not saying men do.
Nothing but I'd rather do that than cook, right? So I'll take that thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And the amount of men who, the most watched cookery shows at the moment are on a Saturday, hosted by men. And I'm like, why are men hosting these shows if they're the ones who aren't doing most of the cooking?
Exactly, not cooking. Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
What are the odds of that? 99 men don't cook, but 1% on the telly promoting it.
Yeah, it's strange. It's very strange. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I've got this in the background. Sorry, this is
Yeah, tell me what's inside it. Tell us.
Yeah, so I worked in events and I don't do anything by half, so it's either off or all on. So this was one of the goodie bags, and we had a lot of help from some fabulous women. So I had two speakers. One was from Manifest, Jodie, and when she agreed to speak, I was I can't believe it. She's one of my heroes. Fabulous. So she spoke and inspired a lot of women I heard in the night. And then the owners of the company are promoting, they own Britfest, which is a festival. So they donated a weekend prize for two.
Amazing.
So we've got such a lot, as we're women, there's so much that we collaborate in and go, oh, well, you have an idea and people jump on board. And before I knew it, I was like, this is a full-on singing, dancing show. Like my friend who I've known the longest is a singer in Stockport, and she said, oh, well, I'll sing for you. And honestly, I did cry when she showed me her songs that she'd been practicing. I was like, oh my goodness, the things you've offered to do, and it's so amazing. I was like, you just don't know what you can achieve unless you start doing it, basically. And that was my lesson.
Together, right? And were you a little bit shocked by the response you got from everybody else? Because it went down the treat so massively. I bet you're still in awe, and the dust hasn't settled yet, hasn't it?
So I'm still up at 3 a.m. Thinking because I was up very early mornings for a week or two before. I can't believe that so many people got involved at last minute. It was very last minute because I only just finished the book. Because the thing is, I'm a perfectionist on myself when I'm dealing with myself, but other people, I'm just grateful that they're doing something. So it's like a mismatch. I don't know if you're the same. Quite a few women are like that. And then I was like, oh, when people said, oh, it was amazing, I love the event, and they got involved, and then I go dancing on a Friday, and I thought, Flash Mob, I've always wanted to do one. I thought, I'm going to do one. So I asked 2 or 3 people, and that before I knew it, like 10 people were doing it. And of course, and in a group as well, one of them said, well, I'll go first, because I thought I don't want to go first. And then I was like, wow, so that, different talents and personalities enhanced it. And then, because I love a little surprise, I'm a bit like that. I was like, oh, wait till let's do this surprise. So I kept it quiet for everyone except the people in the group. We nearly let it out a couple of times. And there was like, no one in my family knows I've been playing this song for like 2 months. No one's got onto the fact I'm dancing around the bathroom practicing this. What else can you do that no one knows?
Oh, it's another mom's weird thing to do, isn't it? No one's surprised by you anymore. But they wonder what's next.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the main thing I've done all this, I've been in an attic room for 2 years in the dark, because that helps you write, which was a tip from Jerry Halliwell. And I'm like, I'll do that. If Sherry says it, I'm doing it. She was one of my heroes growing up. And then Julie Burchill, who's another of my heroes, she's a fantastic writer and feminist. She lives in Brighton now, but she was always my hero. And I was in contact with her, and she said, I love your tagline, fun, fizz and feminism. And I'm like, well, if Julie Burchill's saying she loves it, she's like a writing icon. That's what I'm going to use as my tagline. So that's what I tried to do in the night. Fun, fist, feminism. And that is what I want to do, because I want to set up a group after this of, amazing women who have got, 1 hour or 2 hours a month to change things for women, and we can change different things. Caitlin Moran, when I read her book, How to Be a Woman, said, we need a union for women. And I'm like, well, we need to start the conversation and do the meeting first. So that's what I want to do. So if you're an amazing woman, which you will be, and you just don't even know it, if you're an amazing woman and you've got an hour for an hour or 2 a month to spare to get this conversation going and to set up some action. I'm sick of the talking. We need action. And that's what I want to do, drive forward some action. I don't know if you saw the news today. I was gripped from 8:30. So Maggie Oliver, who is the head of the charity for the Rochdale children and ladies. So first thing this morning, I was crying watching that. But what we need to do is we want action. So action for women in all areas. So that's what I want to have a chat. So if someone can message me on my Instagram at I am Joanna Lambe with an E on the end. I would love to set up a meeting with a few ladies, 5 or 6 to start with. I'd be over the moon with that, and look at how we can change things for women. Because if I can do one event on my own and then women have got on board with that, imagine what we could do.
Yeah, it could be a massive movement.
Yeah, why can't we do it? We can do it. We can do anything. So that's what I want, really. I'm just trying to look. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I've said it.
Boom. No, Joe, I could talk to you, and we generally do talk in lengths, one thing rolls on another, but it's just being fabulous to be part of your world, and just like we said from the beginning, it's not only about us women, but it's by changing ourselves, we can also change things around us, our families, and everybody can be happy, right? Because the energy we project is the energy which is going to bounce off everyone else in our surrounding. It's why it's so important to look after ourselves first and change things for ourselves so things can get better.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and I'm really, really grateful for this book. I'm grateful for you, and I know this is just the beginning. Let's be honest, right? Some people just, I've done a book, tick, right? I can, kick this off my bucket list. But that's just the start. Let's be honest. This is just something when we can refer to right now. But I really believe that things going to just roll like an avalanche from now on. So
yeah.
Everyone wants that space.
I wanted to say thank you to you, because I'm attracting all these fantastic women around me. I'm like blown away because they are next level. And of course, you're next level as a photographer, 11 on 10. Honestly, that's true. Because you're proactive and you're talented and you're witty and you make the models feel comfortable, and they do as you ask, and we experiment a bit, and great things have come out of it, and it's very professional and you get the job done, and that's what you need to do.
Thank you so much. I guess we attract each other because we're very similar, right? It's not only the talk, it's always putting things into action, right? And we bunch of doers, and lots of women around you, there's lots of bunch of doers, and we've got this energy, we can do it, and let's crack on, right?
Before you go, let's do something, which is this campaign.
Okay, so explain the move.
Okay, so basically the campaign is called #Womanhooded. So I wanted to put it on social media so we can all join together. If you can do a quick video on Instagram or Facebook and hashtag it Womanhooded with an ED on the end. And if you can tag me at Joanna Lambe, I am Joanna Lambe on Instagram, Joanna Lambe with an E on the end at Facebook, then I'm going to make a reel and we'll spread the word of the campaign so we can all do this together. I can't do it on my own, and I don't want to do it on my own. I want to do it with really, a good group of women. And then, you'll be so surprised, because if you ask for things, people generally do it. Yeah. And you're like, why didn't I ask before? Let's all ask and get more out of life. Yeah. That's what I want to do. So after 3, when
1, 2, 3. Hey, I like it. I love this. Jo, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and you definitely deserve the title of Wonder Woman. And
I brought my t-shirt.
Oh my god! I can't believe it.
A surprise. I love a surprise.
Very up. Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. Oh, you made my day right now. That's so fun. Yes. So what we're going to do, obviously we don't have the link to the book just yet, but this
Friday. Yes,
Friday.
on social media, on
Exactly.
Instagram, Facebook. I'll give the link live and you can buy your book, your
Brilliant.
copy.
And I'm going to putting all those links underneath so people can just join you and grab the book, grab your copy, and let's join the movement.
Come on, let's do it. We can do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, lovely. Been
All right,
amazing talking to you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.